Inclusive storm dumped up to 20 centimeters of snow in the GTA over the weekend. Light flurries continued to sweep through the area Sunday morning. More than 100 TTC bus stops were temporarily shut down, and Pearson Airport faced flight delays and cancellations. Officials say this is the biggest snowfall the airport has received this winter. Warming centers across the city are open for anyone needing shelter. Let's bring in weather specialist Kabir Bagaria for more. Hey, Kabir.
Thank you so much for that, Catherine. As we look at, well, quite a bit of that snowfall accumulation as we went through the overnight period, and now we're just going through the beginning of the week and seeing that there is the possibility for a bit more snowfall for southern Ontario, but not in the way that we'll see across other portions of southern Quebec, where Quebec City, Montreal, in fact, even Ottawa are getting more snowfall, but only about a centimeter or two is slated for Toronto. A very light dusting, as you noticed, especially this morning. This is how much snowfall is expected to accumulate by the time we get into Wednesday. Halifax getting another 10 centimeters. Montreal, Quebec City sitting at 4 and 7 centimeters respectively. Ottawa getting a few there. Toronto, we're just seeing about 1 through our Wednesday. In terms of the next 7 days, though, temperatures staying just below that freezing mark. The overnight temperatures dipping into the double digits there. A cloudy couple of days, and then the anticipation for more snowfall coming our way for Thursday. But in terms of what that is going to mean for tonight, temperatures sitting at -7. Of course, bit of that snow sprinkling down, and for the day tomorrow, sitting at a high of -3 across the region, anticipating some nice sunshine coming up throughout the day on Monday.
Thanks, Kabir. Time now to check in on the long-range weather forecast, and weather specialist Kabir Bagaria joins me here at the desk. And Kabir, a bit of a mixed bag as we head into this week. Is that fair to say?
It's pretty fair to say. We've got sunshine and cool weather through the west, and then through the east, more bouts of snow coming for not just southern Ontario, but also Atlantic Canada as well.
For the overnight period, dipping down to about -7. Thanks so much for checking out this forecast, not just for Toronto, but also across the GTA and, of course, the country. -7 for the overnight period. We're looking at some cloudy skies over the next couple of days, but let's talk about where things are going, especially toward the east, because we're seeing a couple of more systems making their way across southern Ontario and southern Quebec, where we can see Montreal and Quebec City getting more snowfall. And toward the east, more snow on the way for the Maritimes, Atlantic Canada, as well as, of course, their snow system tapered off going through into the latter parts of the day on Sunday. All right, now, how much snowfall can be seen across southern Ontario? Look at that. Everything turns to purple as we go through the latter part of the week, because we could be seeing about another 15 to 20 centimeters for much of the Golden Horseshoe. Toronto seeing 14 centimeters by the time we get through our Thursday. And, of course, central parts here of Ontario and southern Ontario are going to see almost 40 centimeters in some portions of the area. Now, that is all toward the east. For the west, it's going to be a calm 7 days. In fact, a couple of snow squalls making their way between Edmonton and Calgary throughout Tuesday and Wednesday, but not a significant snow event, not like what we're seeing in the east. It's mostly a temperature story out toward western Canada, the west coast, and the prairies. In fact, here's where we're going temperature-wise. We're looking at -13 for Whitehorse, sunny skies on the way there. 2 degrees for Vancouver, sunshine for BC's interior and Kelowna. Edmonton sitting at -14, and Calgary at -13. As we look forward at Winnipeg, -19 there, and of course -26 for Regina. Now, Thunder Bay for Monday, -12, sunny periods possible. For Toronto, sitting at just about -3 as we go just below that freezing mark. We'll hit around that freezing mark for the majority of the week. Then Ottawa, -6, Montreal at -8 for Monday. St. John sitting at -4. Halifax, we're looking at more sunshine for -6 on your Monday, and then Fredericton -5 for a cloudy day. In terms of today, we're sitting just below that freezing mark for Toronto. We're seeing it get a bit slushy here in southern Ontario, and that's pretty consistent right along the shoreline of Lake Ontario. But temperature is getting a little bit cooler as we move forward. So check this out, as we're going to see some spotty snow squalls continuing through Sunday, the possibility for more of a dusting for southern Ontario, and then eventually going forward forward into Monday and Tuesday. Some more spotty snow throughout southern Ontario, continuing right through. But we'll have more details coming up in the coming days about the amount of snowfall coming for Thursday, especially once we see that start to build. Now, let's take a bit of a look forward at what we could see in terms of accumulation over the next couple of days through Wednesday. A few more centimeters possible there along the Golden Horseshoe, but really it's going to be mostly Ottawa, Montreal, Quebec City seeing more of that snowfall. Now, for the next couple of days, -4, the high for Monday, Tuesday at -3, Wednesday looking at about -4, the overnight period sitting at about -10 looking into the next couple of days. But folks, make sure to bundle up if you are going outside, especially as we go through the overnight period of -7 with cooler temperatures for tomorrow as well. Now, of course, one more thing that I always love to mention is what's going to happen if you go out and walk with your pooch. -6 is going to be the temperature for your dog walking forecast. And of course, take a look at beautiful Tosi in her sweater from Grandma.
First look at the forecast. Let's bring in weather specialist Kabir Bagaria.
Thank you so much for that, Catherine. As we take a look at more snowfall happening through the overnight period, not in a significant way, but more snow is coming towards southern Ontario throughout the beginning of the week. Check this out. As we go through our Monday, a couple of sprinkles of snow along the shores of Lake Ontario, and then a larger system coming through on Tuesday. Thursday is where you are going to want to watch for the amount of snowfall accumulation, because some parts of southern Ontario could be seeing up to 40 centimeters of snowfall. In fact, this is what those totals look like through about Thursday. Toronto could be seeing closer to about 14 centimeters there. And of course, as we look at Huntsville, Muskoka, North Bay, between 25 and 40 centimeters throughout the latter part of the week. Now, let's talk a little bit more short range for the next couple of days. -4 for your Monday, -3 for Tuesday. Sunny periods are possible there as well. But of course, bundle up throughout that overnight period, as of course, we're going to be taking a look at some cooler temperatures. -7 for tonight. And of course, going to a high tomorrow of -3 for Toronto and along the shores of Lake Ontario.
Thanks, Kabir. Ontario. Time now to check in on the long-range weather forecast, and weather specialist Kabir Bagaria joins us here at the desk. And Kabir, a bit of a mixed bag as we head into this week.
That is right. We're looking at temperatures with the wind chill in the west going down to the feeling like the -40s, and then of course in the east, more snowfall is on the way. Taking a look at cooler temperatures for the overnight period at -7 for the city of Toronto. Thanks for tuning into this forecast, not just for Toronto, but as we take a look across the entire country. Speaking of which, let's start off in the east, where we saw significant snowfall in Toronto for the overnight period from Saturday into Sunday. Some more sprinkles possible for the overnight period, but even more snow coming the way of southern Ontario as we look forward into about Wednesday and Thursday, with some passing systems throughout the week. I'll get into the details in just a second. Now, let's talk about how much snow you can expect, especially through Thursday. Check this out. Everything seems to get a lot more significant, especially for parts of Georgian Bay and, of course, the Muskoka region. Kawarthas will see a little bit of this snowfall as well. 15 centimeters expected for Toronto. Brampton just about 20 as well. Barrie up to 35 centimeters possible by Friday evening. Now, that's in complete contrast to what is going on in the west. The possibility for some snowfall along BC's interior, the southern foothills of Alberta, and a couple of snow squalls between Edmonton and Calgary, the QE2 there as well. Jasper will get a bit of snowfall going through into Tuesday, but it's mostly a temperature story as we talk about the cooler temps throughout central and western Canada. -13 for Whitehorse and 2 degrees. Nice sunny skies for Vancouver. -13 for Calgary, -15 for Edmonton, and of course going to almost -20 for Winnipeg. Saskatoon going into the -teens as well. Folks, let's talk a little bit about Western Ontario. Thunder Bay going to -12, and Toronto sitting at your high for Monday, -4. Ottawa's -6, Montreal -7, Quebec City -9, and cooler off toward the east as well. -6 for Halifax, Charlottetown at -10, Fredericton at -5. For today, though, this is where we're expecting to go for just about going through the overnight, -1, and then eventually dipping down to be even cooler with more systems
expected throughout the week. Now let's talk about the 7-day forecast and the outlook here. So we're hovering just in the single digits. We're not in a deep freeze. Now it will be exceptionally cool overnight Wednesday into Thursday. Expect slushy conditions there as well with the snowfall. It's hovering right along that freezing point, so slick driving conditions, things like that. Flowing snow is what you can expect. But -4 is your high going through into Monday. In terms of tonight, -7 is going to be our low with some slight snowfall, and then for tomorrow, -3, -4 for Toronto is what you can expect. But let's go ahead and get a little bit closer and see what we can expect. Oshawa going to -3 as well. Milton, very similar in temperature. And of course, as we take a look at temperatures, we need to talk about our dog walking for tomorrow. Tosi in her sweater from Grandma, absolutely gorgeous. We'll be looking at this throughout the weekend. And of course, at 7 a.m., -6, going to -4 by 10 o'clock in the morning.